conference has been really good. I've been around the stock booths. I've participated in the subsea section this afternoon, and I managed to catch a couple of the presentations this morning. I think the content that I've seen so far has been good, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Well, it's interesting. There are a lot of communications and conversations, especially from vendors, about things like SDN and NFV, specifically about SDN really. But I get the impression from my peers from other networks and from my own experience that people aren't really quite as ready to embrace it as the vendors are keen to. I think really the most important thing for the carriers and the network operators is really about spectral efficiency and getting more capacity down fibres. You know, that's still the predominant interest, especially on the subsea side, but also on the terrestrial side too. I did a presentation this afternoon. I tried to follow on from the one I did last year. Last year we talked a lot about how it was important to reuse technology and existing infrastructure that you have rather than building new infrastructure, especially rather than building new infrastructure that competes with lots of other carriers. And I tried to give a real world example of that this time. So we talked about the Columbia Subsea project, where we lit a section of cable that had been lying dormant on the bottom of the ocean for 15 years and provided a multi-terabit cable system into the Pacific coast of Colombia, where none had existed before. So it ticked all the boxes. It reused old technology. It opened up a market that wasn't there, so that a place where there was little competition, and therefore it meant a better return for our investors, and also new services that were previously unavailable to customers. And that was effectively the sum of my presentation, with slightly fewer bad jokes than last year. Regarding the panel discussion, that was a very useful discussion, I think, specifically if you're interested in subsea, because we had the fibre manufacturers there, we had equipment manufacturers, and we had Level 3 and WIOC, the cable operator out of Africa. And we had a number of conversations. Again, there was much debate and discussion around technological advances and higher speed line rates on interfaces, but we were all of the same opinion that the most important thing was spectral efficiency, especially in the subsea world, because it's about getting as much capacity as you can out of each of those fibres, whether they be brand new fibres or whether they be legacy systems. And then we talked a little bit more about, because the fibre manufacturers were there, we talked a little bit about the importance of fibre type in new builds. And we looked at that, and everybody was of the opinion that right now the most important thing is the sort of effective area of the fibre and the loss, and not any of the sort of interesting side avenues that people took back in the noughties and the 1990s around non-zero dispersion, because things like that haven't helped. But we were all also in agreement that we don't know what we don't know. So whilst large effective area and loss appear to be the most important things, we don't really understand what the important things will be in 5 or 10 years' time. And when you're deploying subsea fibre, you need to be thinking about 30-year lifetimes.